You shouldn't do that. You should never do that. You should never do that. Okay? You might go... Yeah, you might have your eyes messed up badly. Hello everybody, welcome to another Q&A. Actually, welcome to the very last Q&A of 2023. The very last Q&A of this year. This awful year. That's right, I didn't like this year. A lot of bad things happened to me. A lot of good things happened to me too, but also a lot of bad things. Especially a lot of bad things, unfortunately. I just want this year to end, and it ends today. Tonight. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to do some kind of some kind of review of the events that happened this year. I don't think I've done something like this in the previous Q&As. I think I did one last Q&A of 2022, a year ago, obviously. I did another one for 2021, I remember, maybe 2020. Yeah, right? It's like a tradition already. But my point is that I'm gonna have to do something like that. Prepare yourselves for a boring retrospective of my awful year of 2023. But what about you guys? How was your year? Do you have any wishes for next year? Any plans? You know how people make plans like I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the I'm gonna go, I don't know. Gym is usually the classic one, the cliche one. The one that everybody says, I'm definitely going to the gym this year. And they only last for like 2 months and then they quit. And then there's the classic, I'm gonna stop eating this, I'm gonna go on a diet, or I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna do that. So what are your wishes? I mean, what are your goals for 2024, everybody? Let's start with that. Me, my goal of 2024 is I have no idea. I've never been the type of person who sets up goals for the next year, because I've always known that life is extremely unpredictable. I mean, it was extremely unpredictable, surprising, and hardcore this year for me, 2023. I was definitely not expecting everything that happened to me. So it's yet another lesson for me to stop wishing for or setting up goals for the next year, right? So I have no goals. I know that's a boring answer, but yeah, if I start setting up goals, I know Murphy's Law, man. Murphy, that asshole. Yeah, it's gonna happen. If I set up a goal, it's gonna be completely ruined. Yeah. So, Happy New Year to you guys. It's not yet New Year to me, but I know it is for some of you. I'm seeing right now. For Hikari from Octopath Traveler 2. Thank you, NMO95. I hope it'll be great for my channel too. Clean up my finances this year. Need to play Monochrome Mobius. The other games, or what order do you suggest? If you're gonna get into the Uta Wareru Mono series, you should start from the beginning. And that beginning is a little game called Prelude to the Fallen. It's on PS Vita, and it's on PS4, and on Steam. I've seen the trilogy, the Uta Wareru Mono trilogy on Steam for dirt cheap. I don't play on Steam, you know, but people often tell me it's on sale, the entire bundle. So if you don't play on consoles, that might be the best bet for you. And Prelude to the Fallen is the first one, and then you should move on to Monochrome Mobius, which is the second game in chronological order, and then Mask of Deception, and finally Mask of Truth. Okay, or you could just play the whole trilogy first and then Monochrome Mobius. You know, it doesn't really spoil anything from Mask of Deception or Mask of Truth. But yeah, definitely do not start with Monochrome Mobius if you want to get into the series. But honestly, Monochrome Mobius is kind of a standalone title. It's got barely anything to do with Prelude to the Fallen, so it's okay to start with that one and then jump into Mask of Deception. But because after all, Monochrome is the prequel to Mask of Deception and Mask of Truth, so yeah, you can start with Monochrome Mobius, no problem. Oh, as you can see, I have my top 50 regular dungeon themes, area themes, forest themes, any place where you explore and fight battles themes here that I did a couple of months ago. Check it out. If you want to listen to it, by yourself in a quiet afternoon, maybe, or in a rainy day, or in any fucking day, you can listen to it. The video is available public for everyone on my main channel, on this very same channel. So check it out, the entire top 50. Alright, so hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's wise advice. Wise advice. Have you heard of Ast Libra? Recently launched digitally on Switch. Game took 15 years to be made by basically a single person and resembles a bit of Odin Sphere. Oh wow! I've never heard about it, man. You got my attention now. Any Odin Sphere clone, I'm interested. I just beat one a couple of weeks ago called Sword of the Vagrant. I talked about it. I talked a little bit about it on previous Q&As, and I'll review it probably on February. But yeah, Ast Libra. Let me check it out. Ast Libra. So it's just one guy, right? Wow, this looks okay. Looks really cool, man. Yeah, definitely inspired by Odin Sphere. I'm looking at a screenshot right now. Check it out, guys, on Google if you want to. Yeah, Sword of the Vagrant looks more like an Odin Sphere game than this. While I see the Odin Sphere resemblance, it kind of looks a little bit more like its own thing. Yeah, let me take a look at the character design. Pretty unique. Round faces for the characters. You play as this guy. There's tons of characters. Apparently, you can only play as one guy. Yeah, the entire game is just one guy. Unlike Odin Sphere, where you play as different protagonists. Cool, man. Thanks for bringing this game to my attention. So it's an indie game, huh? Developed by a guy named Queso. But it was released on October 13 of 2022, so it's a bit over a year old. Not exactly new, and it's only on Switch and PC. Okay, I'll have to check it out once it goes on sale. You know me, I'm very frugal when it comes to digital games. Can you give me your opinion about the meaning of the dating system in Persona 3 or 4? If the main character Anne died or leaving town, and I don't understand your question, man. But I'm guessing you're trying to ask if it's if there's any meaning to the dating sims. It's just a gameplay mechanic, and it's part of the main story itself. Because by dating or by hanging out with your friends, I mean you increase their bonds, and when you increase their bonds, you get you increase the rank level of the personas that you can fuse or acquire in battle. And the Cathedral of Shadows. Well, actually, it's called the Velvet Room in the Persona games, right? So it does have a lot of meaning. It's one of the very few examples where the dating sim is actually forced on you. I mean, you have to do it, right? Whether you like it or not. So if you're not into that, forget about the Persona series. Who is your hottest JRPG character? Wow, man. Angela from Trials of Mana. She's definitely up there. Probably Sarah Valentine from the Trails series. I'm playing a little indie strategy RPG from China now. Brutal game. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But the fan service is like holy shit. And the queen herself in that game The game's called Banner of the Maid, by the way. Strategy RPG, China. From China. I think it's from China. I think it's a Chinese game. Yeah, and because the characters, the voice actors speak in Chinese. But yeah, the fan service is like ridiculous there, man. Another character in there called Paulette. Definitely one of the hottest. Jean from the Suikoden series. Yeah, I mean, this is a very recurrent question, right? Every Q&A we need, there's gonna be like that one guy asking about waifus. So let's not go in there. We've gotten to this topic several times before. How many games did you beat this year? I don't know, man. Oof. Holy shit. I don't know. I don't keep count. I should, though. I remember several years ago, I was like trying to build up a list on how many games I've been per year. But I have OCD. And my OCD is like, man, you're gonna have to do the previous years. And in fact, you're gonna have to do all the years of your fucking life since you were 5 years old. How many games did you beat when you were 5 years old? Then 6, then 7, and yeah, I didn't do that. So I don't know how many games I beat this year. Probably over 30, man. What direction do you want your favorite JRPG to go? My favorite JRPG is Chrono Cross, so all I want is a new game in the series that can satisfy both Trigger and Cross fans, you know, and probably I think it's best to get a Chrono Trigger 2. I would love a Chrono Cross sequel for consoles, not that fucking mobile game, another Eden or whatever. I mean, come on, man, don't give us that. Give us a proper Cross sequel and a Trigger sequel, or a Trigger remake. We've discussed this before. HD 2D, sweet HD 2D for Trigger. Oh yeah, definitely not for Cross. Cross, the remaster was fine. I wish they could have remastered the CGI cutscenes. They were fucking lazy with that, man, but they fixed everything else. So I'm fine with the Cross remaster. Maybe a remake one day, but you know, Square Enix, fuck those guys, right? Anyway, so yeah, I'd love for the Chrono series to come back, to make a proper revival on consoles. Like I said, you know, I'd love to get a Cross sequel, but I think fans want more a Trigger sequel, and it will be better. Well, I think the best outcome will be to get like a third game in the series that ties everything together. But man, you know, like Trigger and Cross fans, you know, they fight each other and hate each other to death, right? And insult each other. Well, guess what, people? You are allowed to like both games. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, right? You can like both games. How's that? But that's not gonna happen. Happy New Year to you guys too. It's not there yet, but I won't see you tomorrow, so Happy New Year to everybody. Have you played Labyrinth of Galeria yet? No, I haven't. I played the original, the first one, Refrain. Not my type of game. Dungeon crawlers in first person, I can't get into them, but I kind of like that one. Put a few hours into it. That's why I rarely talk about it. I think I've covered that game like 3 times in my channel because I only played it for like 5 hours. Yeah, around that. I streamed it for 2 hours and then I put a couple of extra hours on my own, and yeah. Good game though, you know, it caught my attention. But, I mean, okay, I'll admit it, you know, I'm just not interested in Galeria. Hey, Brent. I wanna play some untranslated stuff. I don't like the translation programs on PC. I was thinking if using the live translations from Google app offers, it seems that serviceable. Will these be viable? I have no idea, man. Right. You know, I've always complained about, especially for the past few years, about localizations and English dub. You know, it seems nowadays pretty political. They change things that shouldn't be changed just for the sake of pleasing the current social elite. And yeah, it's pretty bad, right? I mean, Shin Megami Tensei 5, it's a good example on extremely politicized English dub. Like, come on. And then the liberties they take. I mean, it's just Atlus USA, man. Now that I think about, well, NIS America, holy shit. Yeah. We've always complained about NIS America. The fact that they take fucking forever to localize stuff because they got a lot on their plate. Honestly, someone else should handle one of their big series. I mean, I'm glad NIS America has Ys and Trails, but I think it's a lot for them, you know. It's not that big of a company. It's a lot on their plate. But it's well, I don't know if you guys remember that the Trails series and the E series were pretty much hidden gems, all of them back then, when Xseed was handling them. Xseed is a great company and I love those guys, but they were pretty small. There wasn't a lot of money for advertisement and shit. So, of course, they didn't do a great job in popularizing the series. And then NIS America came along, and NIS America is a bigger, slightly bigger company. And now, you know, both series are quite popular. But, yeah, the only problem with the main problem within the NIS America is that they do take a lot of time to translate stuff. But also, you know, they change a lot of stuff. They kind of Americanize some jokes, some sentences, some meanings. And yeah, they can go a little bit political every now and then, but no problem, right? Not really that big. Yeah, my biggest problem is Atlus USA, man. I fucking hate them nowadays. I love Atlus, Japan, you know, the developers, you know, one of my favorite video game companies of all time. But Atlus USA, fuck those guys, man. Changing everything and politicizing everything and in this ruining entertainment, man. They jumped in the political train of bullshit. Okay, I think what you're trying to ask is, what is the oldest JRPG you ever played that hasn't been remade or remastered? Well, that's an interesting question. You know, some of the NES, I mean, JRPGs date back on the all the way to the mid '80s, and most of the important ones had been remade or remastered in some form. I mean, Final Fantasy was remade on the PlayStation 1. Remember that? Along with its sequel, with its never seen before sequel. I think it was called Final Fantasy Origins on the PS1. Yeah, remakes. And then Dragon Warrior, I think it got a remake on the Game Boy Color. And that's it, right? Well, I don't know. Probably got some other remake or remaster that never came out of Japan, right? And what else? Phantasy Star was remade, but nobody got it. I think it was remade on the PS2, only in Japan. And what else, man? What else? What is the oldest JRPG? Well, probably no. Phantasy Star 2, I guess. Well, it was also remade. Never mind. Not remade, more like remaster on the Game Boy Advance. Damn. Can I just pick Crystalis? Yeah, right? That only got a port. It wasn't even a port, it was just included in the Switch Online NES emulator, Crystalis. That's actually how I played it. So, yeah, Crystalis, or Crystalis, or whatever you want to pronounce it, that's a game that hasn't been remade or remastered or anything of the sort, as far as I'm concerned. So there's your answer. Did you try Omori? No, I've been seeing it on Switch. I got a physical on Switch, and it's kind of expensive. And I've been seeing it. I've been trying to keep my eye on it. I've been keeping track of it. But I'm not sure I'm gonna like it. I mean, it seems like heavily inspired by Earthbound and all those games, and I'm not really into those. But that mature rating has got me intrigued, so maybe, yeah, we'll see. The woke dubbers are now gonna be replaced by AI translators from Japan. Yeah. Nah, I don't think we're there yet. I mean, I don't think that's an interesting topic, right? I mean, AI doing the voice overs in characters in video games. I mean, of course they can do that, for regular games where characters don't talk much, but in role-playing games or adventure games where there's a shit ton of dialogue and character development and I don't know, man. I'm not sure we're there yet, where a robot can do a performance like that, like enact, like a character. Oh, what I mean is for the translation of the script. Oh, then woke is not going to go away, man. It's gonna be worse. Fucking hell, man. 1984, baby. That's exactly where we're at. So how's the top going? We're on song number 44. There we go. It's my top 50 town themes. Missed a lot of buttons, man. Sorry, guys. You're probably gonna reach 100,000 subs this year. You mean like in 2024? Oh, maybe 2025. Like in a year? Maybe they'll finally take me out of their blacklist. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. What do you mean by political train? That everything is politicized nowadays. That, yeah, they give preference to the social elite nowadays. And I've said this before, how the military used well, I don't know how the story goes, but I saw it in Malcolm in the Middle. There's this episode where, how the big brother, the elder brother, is in the military school, and all of a sudden this new guy joins the school, and he's an asshole and nobody likes him. But then, the sergeant, the drill sergeant, notices that they kind of have a problem with this guy. So the drill sergeant starts giving him preference, special treatment, in order for everybody else to get jealous. Like, he starts, treating this guy, giving him preference, like I said. And the rest of the soldiers are like, man, and instead of realizing what's going on and blaming the sergeant, they start blaming the guy. So what I'm trying to say is that this drill sergeant created this social division between these guys and this particular individual who is getting special treatment, right? And now everybody's mad, right? And that's what's happening nowadays, right? With woke people, people of color, gay people, that's what's happening, right? All the government and all the entertainment business, pretty much the powerful people are giving these people preference, special treatment, and everybody else is like, that's what's happening nowadays, and that's what I mean by political train. Where will you rank the SMT4 soundtrack compared to other SMT and Persona games? You just had to ask, didn't you? I mean, SMT4, along with its sequel, Apocalypse, that's my favorite SMT soundtrack of all time. I like it way more than Nocturne, way more than 5, way more than Devil Survivor, believe it or not, and way more than any Persona soundtrack. So that's my number one. I'm not gonna do that video, right? That top 10 or top 5 or whatever, but if I was going to, that would be my number one. SMT/Apocalypse. Because Apocalypse takes a lot of the songs from the original 4 and also plus new songs, right? So if I had to choose between those two, it will be Apocalypse. Apocalypse has my favorite SMT soundtrack of all time. My favorite Mega 10 soundtrack, Persona included. So there we go. Is there any JRPG protagonist you didn't like at first but grew on you later on? That's another question that's been like, it's always somebody has to ask about protagonists. Wish I could be like most of you and say Luke from Tales of the Abyss, but he did not grow on me. Yeah, he gets interesting character development, and at the end you kind of liked him, but not really, you know. At the end I was like, okay, just, you know, let this guy end up with Tyr, and that's all I want, and that's what happened. That's it, the end, fin. Right? But he didn't exactly grow on me. Who else? I can't think of anyone right now. Maybe, I don't know, man. How about Rin Schwarzer? Yeah, I think that's the best example because he gets like 5 games. he gets to star in 5 fucking games. And I'll admit at the beginning I was like, man, this guy, he's just the usual protagonist, the JRPG classic trope in JRPGs, right? And I was like, I didn't care too much for him, but then he grew on me. And at the end, you know, he became one of my favorite protagonists of all time. I guess Mercedes from Odin Sphere. I remember the first time I played that game on the PS2. I never quite liked her. I was like, man, you know, I mean, the other 4 protagonists are much better, and Mercedes is like, But then on my second playthrough, I don't know, I kind of, for some reason, she kind of grew on me, and I appreciated her a little bit more. She's still my least favorite protagonist out of the 5 guys in Odin Sphere, but yeah, she kind of grew on me. I like her more nowadays. I don't criticize, I don't shit on her that much I did before back in the day. So there are two good examples in there. I don't have any 2024 schedule. Games are freaking expensive, and some of them have been disappointing me a lot, greatly. Some with the political bullshit, others for being kind of hollow, overhyped, and maybe I shouldn't expect anything anymore, and I should be just, you know, sit back and watch, and then play them when they're cheap, and that's it. I think my opinion will be improved if I did that. So I don't have any schedule, and I'm not really heavily anticipating anything anymore. They are, though, for anime. Woke translators are crying online? Why? AI is replacing them, but AI is programmed by woke people. It's better than those woke localizers? Well, that's gonna be... I'm gonna have to start seeing some examples of that, and then have an opinion, right? I really can't discuss that right now. 83 people watching, holy shit! And it hasn't even been like 30 minutes. It's because it's the last Q&A of 2023. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thanks a bunch. And welcome, by the way. Usually it takes like an hour to get like to 70 people watching. Anyway, can you tell your top 5 series overall, please? There's a video I did a couple of years ago about my 10 favorite JRPG series of all time. I guess 2 years, things have kind of changed a bit, but I don't think so. My number 1 is still Suikoden. My number 2 is still... Well, okay, I have a problem now. It's just modern Fire Emblem. I've enjoyed it. I haven't played Engage. It's still fucking expensive. Nintendo. You know, Nintendo exclusives, right? Shit take forever to go down in price. But my point is that while I loved Three Houses passionately, everything that came out for the past 10 years, it's been 10 years since Awakening came out, right? So for the past 10 years, it's just been different, right? And I haven't been the biggest fan of the last titles, except Three Houses. But I've also said that Three Houses doesn't really feel like a true Fire Emblem to me. What I'm trying to say is that I think my list nowadays is kind of like in random order. I mean, my number 1 is definitely Suikoden. right? I don't think that's ever gonna change. But the other 4 in random order, well, Fire Emblem, Grow Lancer, rest in peace, Shin Megami Tensei, and damn, it's a fucking contest between Ys and Tails. That's a tough one, man. Tails versus Ys. Which one is better nowadays for me? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to use... I think I put Ys over Tails in my top 10 for 2 years. 2 years ago, the ones like a year and a half ago. No, it's actually 2.5 years ago. Damn, that video is old. Maybe it needs a remake. So what I'm trying to say is that... remember when we compared Tails versus Trails? Okay, so I'm gonna have to use the same argument here. I love Ys, and I think I'm starting to become a bigger Ys fan than Tails fan. But I've been playing Tails since I was like 20 years old. And Ys... Well, actually, Ys, I played the first Ys... my first Ys was Napishtim. And that, actually, I was like 20 years old too. 2021, I think. But I didn't like the game. I didn't like the Ys 6, the Arc of Napishtim on the PS2, because it didn't have any party members. Yeah, I was that kind of guy. I didn't like action RPGs back then with no party members, which is exactly the reason why I became such a die-hard fan of the Tales series and Dot Hack, because they were action RPGs and you had party members, right? Even if you couldn't control them directly. I mean, in Tales you can switch between them, right? In Dot Hack you can't. Well, my point is that, I mean, I was into the power of friendship, okay? God damn it. I'll admit it, I was into the power of friendship back then. I was like, man, I'm fighting with my friends here, yeah. And then games like Ys, until Ys 7 came about, Ys 6 and below, you didn't have any party members, and it was just Adol. You played as Adol and that's it. Or Unica in Origin, right? And it was just one guy, one person, one character, no party members. So I didn't like that back then, so I ditched the game. And I didn't become a fan of Ys until I played Ys 7 many years later. Like, I think I played Ys 7 about 12 years ago, okay? And I became a huge die-hard fan of the series, right? But my point is the same. I think I like Ys a little bit more nowadays than Tales, but Tales is nostalgia for me. I've been playing Tales for almost 20 years, so that's my top 5. Ys cannot be in there, damn it. But how about Ys versus Grow Lancer? Let's move on. Thank you. Hooflong. 128. Can you provide your thoughts between Ys 8 and Ys 9? Well, I've made that comparison before several times, and there's a video. My Ys 9 review is partially a comparison between those two games. You know, I think they're fantastic games, masterpieces, both of them. Let me narrow it down for you. If you want a deeper explanation, go watch the video. I recommend it. But, I mean, of course I recommend it. I did the fucking video, right? So, in terms of story, I think it's a little bit better on 9. I found it more interesting. In terms of characters, same. Even though I like the fact that in 8 you have 2 protagonists. I fucking love that. But I like the cast a little bit more in 9. In terms of gameplay, overall gameplay, I think they're equal. But Lacrimosa might be a little bit more interesting because of the village. And because you go around, explore, and then gather materials for the village and stuff. And it was just, the world building in 8 was better. And in exploration also, Lacrimosa is better, right? And in terms of music, I think it's a solid tie. But just because of motherfucking Sunshine Coastline, I'm gonna have to pick 8. And in terms of graphics, we all know 8 has the better graphics, has better visuals, better colors. Since 9 was a little bit darker, the colors weren't that great and the graphics didn't improve much, and it felt like no improvement whatsoever, like it was the same game that came out like 10 years ago, right? So yeah, overall I think, objectively speaking, 8 is the better game, but I like 9 more. Thank you, Uncle V. Have you ever played Stranger of Source City? And what do you think of it? Great music, and I don't like that game because it's a dungeon crawler in first person. I'm not a fan of those types of games, man. But I will say this: I found it very interesting that there's like different art styles, different character design, different artists worked on a bunch of different characters. I like that. So you could have like a modern anime looking style character with a baroque looking, not so anime-ish type of character, and an old style anime type of character, all of them in your party. That was great. I did put a couple of hours into that game, but I got lost in the second dungeon, I think. Yeah. And I couldn't find. I was like, man, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Where do I go? What do I do? And I ditched it. Yeah. But, so I'm not a fan of those types of games, but I'll give you this. It's one of the most unique dungeon crawlers in first person I played. And I know there's a sequel. It was released, I think that game was remastered alongside its sequel, not direct sequel, on the Switch. Sapphire of Lost Wings? No. Saviors of Sapphire Wings. I think that's the other game. Nothing to do with each other. Not exactly a sequel. It's just the same, another game by the same developers, right? I haven't played it. The gameplay is different between the Ys series and Tales Grow Lancer, right? Oh, for sure. I mean, Ys is more similar to Tales because they're both action RPGs, you know, where you fully control your character and hack and slash and blah blah blah. Whereas Grow Lancer are real-time strategy RPGs. Well, I guess 5 was a little bit of a hybrid without action included, but from 4 and below, you can control your characters. You just tell them where to go during battle, right? I think 3 and 4, 1, 3, and 4, you can manually control them during the exploration. But in battle, you just tell them what to do and where to go. You cannot directly control them. So yeah, I mean, that's why I ended the discussion, because Ys simply cannot be compared to Grow Lancer. But even if they can't be compared, I don't know which one I like more. I think I'm a bigger Grow Lancer fan, even though the series is dead, and even though there's only 6 games, and I've only played 4 because the other 2 are only in Japan. I know that's a fan translation for 6. I haven't played it, but yeah. Well, what can I say, man? I'm a diehard strategy RPG fan. So I like strategy over action. And the Tales and Grow Lancer series seem to have more skill selection in their setup. Each series seems really about timing and dodge. You're right about that. Tales can get a little bit technical sometimes. Depends on the game. Some Tales games are also about just timing and dodging, to be honest. But then there's others, you know, like Graces. Or Arise was kind of like that too, a little bit technical. Arise on easy, you could just make it about that, timing and dodging, right? But if you play on normal mode, I mean, it's a little bit more than that. It's a deeper battle system, like in Berseria. Berseria was about the button mashing, but if you play on normal or hard on Berseria and you just try to button mash your way through, you're gonna get slaughtered, man, at some point. I've seen people claiming it's one of the easiest Tales games, and yes, it is, but I don't think people should underestimate that game. I mean, there's a little bit. The battle system is not as deep as in other Tales games, but it's not really 100% about timing and dodging, like you say. So, yeah. Have you reached out to any developers, companies in pursuit of opportunities to review upcoming game releases you're excited about? I did that a couple of years ago. I remember reaching out to several companies. Atlus was one of them, and you already know what happened. Bandai Namco. Well, NIS America, and I established a relationship with NIS America because, well, you just need to like send them your information and that's it. And Nintendo, Square Enix. Anyway, the point is that most of these companies ignored me. And other companies, I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me. Like Koei Tecmo, back in the day, I get nothing from them anymore because the guy sending review codes quit. My guy in Koei Tecmo quit, and I don't know who took over. Idea Factory reached out to me. Good relationship in there. And Square Enix was weird. They seemed to only send me Star Ocean codes for no reason. They send me nothing else. And I remember asking them for a review code for Triangle Strategy, but someone told me that I should have reached out to Nintendo, so I did, and Nintendo ignored me. And I think it was another Square Enix game. I think it was the Dio Field Chronicle. Yeah, and that was the last. That was like, man, they ignored me again, Square Enix. And I never heard back until the guy sent me a review code for Star Ocean 6. And I asked that guy, hey, you don't happen to have a review code for the Dio Field Chronicle, do you? Oh yeah, here it is. Thanks, dude. And then a couple of weeks later, I made the reviews for both Star Ocean and 6 and the Dio Field, and I was like, hey, how's it going? You don't happen to have a review code for Tactics Ogre, right? I never heard back this time. It seems to me like these companies, the big companies, usually hire like different people for each game. I think so. Because the smaller companies don't do that. You know, for example, Nice America, the same guy has been giving me review codes for the past couple of years. My guy at Koei Tecmo gave me all of the review codes of all of their games, RPGs, before he quit, right? But the bigger studios like Atlus, Square Enix, Bandai Namco, like it's always someone different for each game. So it's weird. I mean, you gotta get lucky. Because these people often discriminate. Not because I'm Mexican, okay? No. They discriminate you in like, oh, he doesn't do reviews very often, so fuck this guy. Or, no, his reviews don't get a lot of views. Or, he criticizes my company, like who knows who. Or, he's been through some controversies with the social elite. Again, I don't know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so, and others just, I mean, they just get a shit ton of requests, right? And they're like, man, I only have 50 review codes, and there's like 200 YouTubers asking me for one. So they gotta make the decision and look at their numbers, and that's it, you know. And then, you know, all these new people that get assigned to each different game, they're like, okay, so there's nowadays there's like 1 million JRPG channels, man, 1 million of them. So they're like, fuck. So probably there's a big probability most of these people don't even know who I am. And they're like, who? What's your name, Erick? Erick who? So yeah. So yeah, I kinda gave up on that. To answer your question, I kinda gave up on that. To reaching out to companies and asking for review codes, I gave up on that. Like, if they want me to review their game, you know, reach out. I'm not gonna reach out to them anymore. It's just, I mean, it feels bad, man. It feels bad when you reach out and you get rejected for whatever reason, or you're ignored because they don't even know who you are. It may sound arrogant, right? But then again, you know, we are playing. Yes, they're giving us a full video game for free, but it's digital only, no physical version. It's just digital, a digital code, and they don't pay us anything. I don't know other big YouTubers, maybe they charge these companies, but I've never charged a single penny, not even to indie studios, for a review code. And I've advertised some of them. I'll give you an example. You know how I did that review of Dead End Request 2? It's a video I called The Darkest JRPG of All Time. And it nowadays it has like 100 and something thousand views, 105,000 views. So man, that's over 100,000 people who are now aware of that game and are probably gonna buy or play it, right? And ask me if I charge something to Idea Factory for sending a review code of that game to me. No, I didn't. And I don't feel like I should. No, I'm like, man, I should have charged this bad. No, that is a good relationship. right? So if you think I'm being arrogant because I don't want to reach out to them, you should also look at it the other way around, like arrogant, for rejecting certain YouTubers because it's just stupid. It's publicity, man. It doesn't matter how I think, what political beliefs some people have. I have no political beliefs. Maybe that's why they don't reach out. Or it doesn't matter if my reviews don't get hundreds of thousands of views. It doesn't. I mean, we are giving them publicity for free. And then yet they discriminate. They are impartial like this. So yeah, it's a weird relationship, man, and it's very gray. It's not just black or white. You can't just say, oh, fuck these guys, or fuck the YouTubers, fuck Erick, Landon, fuck Atlus. No, it's a very gray area. It's hard to determine who is in the right or who's in the wrong. It's not really about being right or wrong. It's just a matter of perspectives, right? Companies have a different views and different ways to advertise their games. That's really all I can say, man. But I don't want to reach out to them. Not anymore. Anyway, the AI. Happy New Year to you too, Interlocutor. I kind of went off the rails in there. Well, that's the point of these Q&As, right? Wait. What number are we on the top? I wanted to make a poll right now. 35. That's a really obscure game. Black Rock Shooter on the PSP. It's one of those games that are like, is this really an RPG? Or is it merely an adventure game with RPG elements? The endless discussion of nowadays. Tons of video game. Every fucking video game in existence has RPG elements. That's my phone. Reach out on my cell phone, whoever you are. Anyway, so what were you saying about? It remains okay. The AI being trained to replace the woke appropriation of the Japan culture and injecting its will. Probably only do a language translation. 101. Okay. It remains to be seen when the AI runs into problems with cultural differences that don't translate if they farm out that back to wokies. AI has been getting into a lot of trouble lately, especially in websites like this one. Demonetizing videos for no reason. And then when you ask a human being about it, they're like, no, it cannot be undone. And a fucking robot demonetized my mature hidden gems video. And when I asked about it to a human being, they were like, no, I don't know what happened there. Can you tell me, please, what's wrong with my video so I can edit it, do some edits to it, or cut the offensive and inappropriate content off? No, it cannot be undone. So, I don't know, man. AI. Yeah. What's your experience with Yakuza? Infinite Wealth is coming up. Ooh, man. So Infinite Wealth is a direct sequel, from what I've heard, of Like a Dragon. And I don't know if you've played Like a Dragon. I think you have. Like a Dragon is a phenomenal game, man. If you haven't played it, just do yourself a favor and do it. I think you've played that game. So Infinite Wealth, as far as I'm concerned, is a direct sequel to it. So yeah, you're gonna have to play it. I'll play it. Definitely want to continue the adventures of Ichiba Kasuga. That was his name, right? Ichiban Kasuga. What a moron, that game. I love that fucking guy. If you decide to play on Steam, what's the first you'd play? Probably anything exclusive to it. I wouldn't bother with games that are already on consoles. I will probably go after the exclusives. Definitely. Especially some of those indies that I've seen that are exclusive to Steam. Some of those strategy RPGs look badass, man, inspired by Fire Emblem and whatnot, man. And they're exclusive on Steam. I will go after those first and foremost. Have you been keeping up with Reggie and Isha at all? Not really. I don't keep up with any YouTuber whatsoever anymore. Do you keep in touch with Games of War? I tried, but you know that guy, right? Freaking Joshua. His name is Joshua. Man, I tried keeping up with him in contact, keeping in touch, but he just disappeared from social media, and I did the same. I disappeared from social media about a year ago, a year and a half ago. No more Twitter, no more Discord, no more Facebook, nothing. Just YouTube. This is my social media, the goddamn Q&As. So yeah, I think I remember reaching out to Joshua about, what was it, like 6 months ago, because he asked me if I had played Trinity Trigger. He was like, "Yeah, have you played this game yet?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I think when did that game come out? Like in March or April?" So that was the last time I talked to him. I asked him, "No, I haven't played the game. Is it any good? Have you played it? Is it any good?" And I never heard back. He he got offended. maybe he's a diehard Trinity Trigger fan. I was like, "How dare you, Erick, for not playing? How dare you ask me that?" Nah, I'm just kidding. He's like that. You send him a message and he answers like 3 months later. So I gave up. Do you think the Vita has a true... Man, Games of War, he's not just a buddy of mine, He's one of my favorite... He was one of my favorite YouTube channels. He doesn't make content anymore. But man, I wish he could come back. I loved his fucking videos, sitting in the middle of the room, and the entire freaking collection behind him. And the way he covers the games and talks about them, I mean, man, he was an inspiration, man. One of my favorite YouTubers, man. But yeah, he probably gave up on YouTube, or he's too lazy to make videos. I don't know. Do you think the Vita has a true sequel coming in 2024? Yeah, I've seen the rumors, right? That there's a new portable system being developed by Sony. If it does, then I hope it succeeds. And I hope Sony doesn't fuck it up like they fucked it up with the PS Vita. That was a massive, colossal fuck up. So, worse, dare I say, than Nintendo with the Wii U. So hopefully, it will succeed and we'll see, something better. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that the Vita got a lot of third-party support, right? I mean, just why can't Sony freaking support their own system, man? Why release a system and then we don't got it? Let's not open that Pandora's box. Happy New Year to you too, guys. I bought those games because of you. Then I request 1 and 2. Yeah. Great games, right? How do you feel for 2024 so far? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm looking forward to some games, but I'm not gonna play a single one of them on day one, unless the companies reach out to me. Enough about that. Oh man, is there a JRPG scene that can make you cry or drop a tear? Tales of Legendia. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but fucking broke my heart what happened with a specific character, and I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to spoil it, man. But Jesus Christ, Chrono Cross broke my heart. At the end, I was like, man, no, it can't end like this, man. Yeah. I don't remember shedding any tears with the Trail series. I may have gotten a bit emotional at some point, but I don't remember. Yeah, you're talking about Trails from Zero. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a heartfelt moment. But can I be honest? I never liked Ren until she became an adult. Ren was like extremely annoying gothic Lolita type of character, and I never liked her, man. I always found her a really annoying character. It wasn't until she was grown up in Cold Steel that I became a fan of her. But a child Ren Not so when that happened, you know, it was emotional because Estelle was like, right, yeah, me too. But nah, I didn't cry. Do you think we'll get a portable console that supports current PlayStation games? No. No, you mean like like what the PS Vita did with PS3, right? I don't think so. I mean, they'll have to develop a portable system that can, where you can play games in 4K or at least in 1080p at 60 frames per second. I don't know, man. That would be interesting if Sony were to do the same, you know, with I don't know. Do you think fuck. Anyway, Trails in the Sky the Third. No. Trails in the Sky the Third, I played the fan-translated version on the PS Vita, which is the best version of it to play. No, the art style is better on Steam, on the Steam version. This PS Vita version is actually a remaster. It is a remaster. It looks fantastic and I love it, you know. So I played the fan-translated version. Hey, Oscar! Happy New Year to you too, buddy. Thanks for showing up, man. Hooflong, thanks again, man. Thanks for the donation. Could you give a quick trip down memory lane for the Shining Force 1 and 2 games on the Genesis, since it is now accessible for others on the Genesis Mini? I have news for you. Those two games have been accessible for everyone since the PlayStation 2 era. In the PlayStation 2, there was a release called the Sega Genesis Collection, and it included those two games. And then that very same collection was released with some differences here and there and with different names on the PS3, on the PSP, on the Switch, on the PS4, on Steam. Was there one for the Xbox 360? I don't remember. But anyways, oh, yeah. They aren't just on the Genesis Mini, dude. Anyway, so iconic RPGs. You know, I've covered those games several times. I didn't get to play them growing up. In fact, you know, when I first played Final Fantasy Tactics was my first strategy RPG. I was like 20 years old and I didn't like it. I didn't get into strategy RPGs until I played Eternal Poison. So I got pretty late into Shining Force 1 and 2. So it will be pretty hard for me to go down, to make a quick trip down memory lane for those games because I didn't play them growing up. I think I played the first Shining Force. I played the Game Boy Advance remaster. That was my first encounter with the Shining Force original games. And that was about 8 years ago, or yeah, probably 7-8 years ago, right? So, of course I became a die-hard fan. I love the fucking game. And years later I got the sequel on one of those Sega Genesis collection. I loved it. I think they are very important games. I think they should be brought back, not in collections and such, or Genesis Minis. They should be like some kind of remaster for modern systems. It's one of the most iconic Sega IPs, right? We got Sonic, we got several other Sega original IPs, but Shining Force and Phantasy Star are like the two of the most influential JRPG series of all time. Phantasy Star 1, Shining Force, one of the most influential strategy RPGs ever made. Not sure why Sega did what they did. Refer to my What the Hell Happened to the Shining series video, and you'll see why Sega are a bunch of fucking idiots. Man, seriously. With some series. As developers, they're great, but yeah, when it comes to making marketing decisions and stuff like that, Jesus Christ. Oh man. Do you think the Trails in the Sky trilogy will be made digitally available on current-gen consoles like what they did with Zero and Asher? We've talked about this before, and I remember that people were saying that Falcom may have lost the source code for those games, which is why we haven't seen anything. but who knows, right? That's only speculation. I'm not sure if we will see them. By the way, Zero and Asher aren't just digital, they got physical releases too, by the way. And so I don't know what to say. All I can say is that I hope so. I hope we get some kind, really hope we get some kind of remaster or remake of that trilogy in the near future. Because people are mad. People are like, man, you're giving me all the sequels and not the first games. And a lot of people don't want to jump into the series because the Sky trilogy is a bit dated. And that's, now we discussed this before, you know, the big problem with the Trail series is that, precisely that Falcom doesn't want to bring back the beginning of it all. And instead focuses on releasing the other games, the sequels. Anyway, isn't Shining Resonance part of the Shining 4 series? No, watch my video, man. It's a mess. The Shining series is a huge mess. Huge mess. I missed some questions. What is your take on a Eiyuden Chronicle? I'm really expecting it. But like I said before earlier at the beginning of this stream, I think I'm gonna have to keep my expectations low for every single video game in existence from now on. Because I was very disappointed last year with some of the big ones. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm excited for it, but keeping my expectations low for now. Do you think Fire Emblem do you think Fire Emblem will move away from gacha after Engage? Move away? Like, you mean like shut down Fire Emblem Heroes? Who knows, right? Who knows? It seems like the big companies are interested a lot in doing gacha games and free-to-play games more than anything. We've seen a couple. I'm kind of afraid. We've seen Genshin Impact and Honkai Rail Star, I think that's the name, and those were very successful games. So I fear we may start seeing more actually, and not for phones, you know, for consoles. Like companies are gonna go that way. Big companies, you know, probably Final Fantasy 17 is gonna be a free-to-play game. The next Fire Emblem, you know, and so on. I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, I wouldn't be surprised. That seems to be the future of gaming nowadays. Because, let's face it, nobody wants to pay for anything anymore. Some games still sell millions of copies, that's for sure. But a lot of companies are struggling with money. And they'd rather make money that way. Let you play their games for free, but then sell you little stuff like characters or outfits or DLCs or power-ups, levels, etc. Right? Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what's gonna be the future of gaming? I also think there's a lot of companies that don't want to go down that road. They want to stick to console games. They want to make the big releases regular offline player games, you know. So who knows what'll happen? But I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing some releases from the big companies that are free to play or gacha games or gacha games. Yeah, Shining Resonance Refrain is pretty similar to the Tales series. Pretty similar. Suspiciously similar. I told you before in the previous Q&A, thank you Nemo Propaganda. Happy New Year to you too, buddy. I told you before in the previous Q&A that if you think Final Fantasy is the one major series trying to imitate every single video game genre out there, no, Shining did it first. Shining did it first. Almost every single game after Shining Force 3 has been nothing but an imitation of another genre or another successful franchise or game. Jesus. Ark the Lad died as a phone game. Valkyrie Profile died as a phone game. Yeah, pretty much. Well, we shouldn't say they're dead, you know. They are dormant. Come on, don't break my heart. I'm still hoping one day we'll see a proper Valkyrie Profile comeback. Valkyrie Profile 3 after 15 years. No, it's been more. It's been, what, like 17 years since the last one. Since the last main title. Okay, we got Covenant of the Plume, but that was a bit of a spin-off in 2010, I think. Yeah. So, and then Anatomia, right? For mobile, which was supposed to be a prequel. Damn. I'm just kidding, man. Don't apologize. Yeah, Valkyrie profile. That's a conversation. That's a conversation, man. Right? It seems to me that I think so, it's just. I don't mean to shit on Square Enix like I always do, but it seems to me that some companies just have no clue what to do with some franchises, and they just refuse to listen to the fans. It's like they don't care. Like, I mean, they know, man. Square Enix knows. They aren't that stupid. They're stupid, but not that stupid. They are aware fans have been begging for Valkyrie Profile 3 since 10,000 years ago, and they just don't give a fuck. They've proven it. Okay, Silmeria was out, it was successful, and then we got Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume, a spin-off strategy RPG exclusive to the Nintendo DS, stupidly unbalanced, lots of technical problems and balancing issues, and we were like, fine, so where's the third game? It didn't happen. And then many years later, a mobile game. And then many years later, Elysium. I mean, yeah. I think anyway, I don't want to talk about this, man. It's like someone said something about way back question that I wanted to answer. Way back. Can't find the question anymore. Well, since there are no more questions right now, let's do a recap of my entire year. Although it's mostly negative things. No, never mind. Keep asking your questions. Now, I was gonna say that it wasn't a great year for me. I moved to a different house, and it was supposed to be like a fresh, not exactly a fresh start, but it was supposed to be like a level up, right? Like I'm on a different. I leveled up, and I remember when I came here, everything seemed like it was going to be all right, but then because COVID pretty much ended, the pandemic was over, and it seemed to me it probably was a great year for a lot of you, but it seemed to me personally that it was going to be like a great year. Like I remember I started the year with 88,000 subscribers, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get to 100,000 this year. And since 2019, my channel was like this, kind of like on the rise, slow but steady, and I like that. And now I don't know, it's not that I had high expectations for this year, but it's more like I was like pretty positive about it, that it was gonna be an awesome year for me, and unfortunately it was the exact opposite. First and foremost, the US dollar went down. Inflation destroyed the economy of almost the entire world, and it fucked up people, destroyed careers, destroyed lives. It got worse, and it went down bad, man, because I remember last year, 2022, it was still kind of holding up, the US dollar. And why am I mentioning the US dollar? Because Google is a US company, okay? And they pay everybody and their moms in US dollars. All YouTubers, they make a transfer. Of course, they convert the US currency to your country's currency, in this case to Mexican currency, to Mexican pesos. So imagine $10, for example, last year they were 20 Mexican pesos, and nowadays they are 17 Mexican pesos. So it went down 3 Mexican pesos. So imagine, horrible. And it stayed that way. I remember in January of 2023 it stayed kind of a little bit strong, but that was just like the decline, and I think it was in April when it finally dropped, in March when it dropped considerably, and we were like, oh my god, I hope this is temporary. Well, it wasn't temporary. It's been that way the entire year. So of course, imagine, it fucked me over. And then what else happened? Well, the politicization is only getting stronger. This woke stuff, it's only getting stronger and stronger each year, and it's already taking over the world. And people who speak, most people are afraid to speak against it nowadays. Not me. Maybe I should be, but I don't. And people like me, what did the website do to them? They start messing up with our algorithms. They start shadow banning us. They start demonetizing certain videos for no reason. And not only that, on the other hand, censorship is also way stronger than before, and it's greatly affecting content creators, greatly affecting everything in the industry, but especially here. I mean, you can still see a lot of uncensored stuff on Netflix, Amazon Prime, those services, right? But YouTube is becoming like the king of censorship. And this year, it just fucked me over with several videos, when it used to be like, that one video every now and then, they shadow ban it and that's it. But this year, man, wow, it's like, fuck. And it just got 10 times worse. I mean, it was bad last year, but it was just ridiculously terrible this year. YouTube and the censorship policies, it just fucked me over, man. And well, as you may have seen, I didn't reach 100,000 subscribers because primarily it just occurred to YouTube that it would be a good idea to start purging subscribers. To start, number one, deleting inactive accounts for only 2 years. Wow, 2 years? So if you haven't logged into your Gmail account in 2 years, it's gone forever, and that subscriber is gone forever too. So yeah, they decided to do some kind of purge on May 20 this year, and people, not just me, everybody started getting less subscribers and losing a lot of subscribers for no reason. I remember in May I was pretty scared. I was like, man, what's going on? I'm losing a shit ton of subscribers. And I was like, it's probably, another YouTuber went out and slandered me or something, or said some bad things about it. No, nobody said anything, and I looked into it and I eventually found that out. That YouTube, had decided to start deleting all of these accounts. Inactive accounts, spam accounts, fake accounts, etc., right? And they didn't do like a full 100% purge. Thankfully, they didn't do that. Because otherwise, everybody would have lost like 20,000 subscribers overnight. That didn't happen. What we started seeing since May, I saw a decline. I was like getting, 1,200 subscribers every month and losing like 600. And on May, it was like this. Like, what the fuck happened, right? And it hasn't stopped. It's been that way since May 2023. And, well, I found out that's the month they started doing the purge. So they fucked us over again. I understand why they pretend to create new guidelines and new policies in order to benefit content creators. They have to know, they have to be aware that they're only fucking us over and over again. Such a horrible website this YouTube has become, man. And what else? And well, I saved the worst for last. As you may already know, my mom almost died. She was hospitalized on May. That was the worst fucking month for me of probably my whole life. She was hospitalized, severe pancreatitis, pretty bad. Doctors were like, there's not a lot of hope. Start saying goodbye. And it was pretty hard for us, as you can imagine, but she got out. But then like a month later, she was hospitalized again, and this time it was really fucking bad. And miraculously, she made it. She got out of it on the end of July, and she seems fine now, still recovering. And hopefully next year will be better for her and for us as a family. But yeah, that was pretty hardcore. I know. I wish I could say I don't wish this to happen to anybody, but it's just life. Every single human being is gonna die at some point by some disease that's gonna kill you in a few days or weeks, months or years over time. Or you're just gonna get killed in an accident or something. Everybody's gonna die, right? But yeah, the best I can say, guys, is just if you go through something like that with a family member, I wish you the best. I now know what it feels like. It's horrible, and I don't wish that to happen to anybody. But yeah, we're gonna die at some point. My mom didn't die, thankfully. So she made it, and that was the best fucking thing that happened to me this year. Because my uncle died. Man, he visited my mom in the hospital, and he seemed fine. Nothing was wrong with him. So my mom recovered, and by September, one day he paid a visit to her, and I was there with his wife, and they seemed fine, but he was like complaining about some pain in his back. And then it was pretty bad, and it was like, okay, so there's something wrong with his back, right? Well, 2 weeks later, guess what? I mean, you have cancer. Fucking cancer, man. And 2 weeks later, he was dead. I don't know if any of you have gone through something like that with a family member with cancer, but that's just fucking horrible, man. I mean, my mom suffered through months and months in anguish and stress and worry for us, but she pulled through. But my uncle, all of a sudden, in less than a month, he was diagnosed with cancer and he was dead. And then it was just fucking horrible, man. If something happens to you, I'm so sorry. It's pretty bad. So but my mom made it, and if there's one great thing that happened to me this year, was that she survived, and that she's fine at home, and that she made it. And I want to talk a little bit about something. Let me answer some of these questions, these donations. Thanks a bunch, CB Ross. Diego, thanks a bunch, man. He asked, what's your opinion over the design changes in the East games? Love the old 1 through 6, somewhat more lonely experiences, and the fact that adult design stayed unchanged after so many games. Happy New Year. I've never thought about that, you're right. Now that I think about it, adult and the character design has indeed changed over the years. Not just that, just the gameplay mechanics, the controls, everything about the East games. When East 7 came out, it was like a revolution, right? It was like a major change for the series, and everything changed. But in my opinion, I changed for the better. I like the change, and I like it, man. I mean, I'm not trashing the old one, the old style, which was pretty good too. But I don't know, I kind of like it a little bit more now. It kind of needed it to be, right? So I have no problem. I don't have a strong opinion on that matter. But anyway, thank you for your best wishes, everybody. I'm not really that interested in the Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm glad it's getting remade, but what about the first one, right? I know it got some kind of remake, reboot, or whatever you want to call it, on the Wii and PS2 called Shattered Memories. But I mean, what the fuck is that, man? We needed like a full remake of the first game, and Konami ignored it and went straight to the sequel. Okay, that's Konami for you, trying to redeem themselves to the fans. At least they're trying, right? Anyway, so that's my year, everybody. Thank you for your best wishes, and thank you, Oscar. Thanks, man, for everything, for being here, for being a friend. Thanks a bunch. So yeah, hopefully next year will be better, and it won't be as fucked up as this one. But I'm keeping my expectations to a minimum. Because, you know, now you know why. Yeah. I want to talk about something about my YouTube channel. I know you've been noticing that, not exactly some changes to it, but like I kind of reduced the top 10s, and I've been introducing more longer content. Just want to tell you that I don't know if that's gonna turn off a lot of some people are gonna be turned off. I know that for a fact, because I mean they'd rather watch a 15 minute long video over a 1 hour long video or 40-minute long video. But it just so happens that for some reason YouTube seems to favor a little bit more, not in terms of views, definitely not. 15-minute long videos get more views than 1 hour long videos, at least that's my case. But in the long term, they seem to make a better impact on fans. The longer content, not that long though, but long nonetheless. And it, for some reason, it feels more fulfilling for me personally. And the compilations in the remakes and stuff like that have been a little bit more present over in my channel over the past year. I don't know why I get the feeling that some people may have believed that I was running out of ideas, but not really. All of that was carefully planned and decided, and I've been enjoying it. And every now and then, you know, YouTubers like me need to like not exactly go into a different direction, but more like start evolving, start adding new things. I mean, because I'm honestly, I've grown a little bit tired of making a shit ton of top 10s every month and just covering the same games over and over and over and over again. I like covering these games from different angles and perspectives. But if I have to write a script where I have to explain what Chrono Cross is about and what it's like, I mean, I've done that like 30 times already in different videos, right? I'd rather talk about the game from a different point of view. And I think that's one of the reasons why my 10 JRPGs that surpassed my expectations series has been kind of successful, because yes, I'm talking about the same games again and some new ones too, some surprises in there, but I'm also, you know, talking about them from a different perspective. I'm saying different things, I'm not explaining them. I'm talking about my experience with them, and that's better for me. So I just wanted to let you know that that type of content will continue. Okay, generic top 10s, I'm trying to get rid of them. It's okay to keep doing them every now and then, every once in a while. But it's time to slightly move on from that. Okay, and maybe try out new things and different things, and improving the old content and just making it better, right? And yeah, I'm still gonna keep making those videos that are like 12-minute long videos, 15-minute long videos, don't worry about that. Reviews are still gonna be there, 10-minute long videos, reviews, whatever. But yeah, you may continue to see longer videos and long compilations and the music videos. The music videos have been a blast. Most of them aren't successful in terms of views, but there's something different in my channel, right? And for some reason, people love them, right? And they use them. They don't just skip through the video, because that's another problem. I mean, we YouTubers have two big fucking problems nowadays. I'll get to those problems in a bit. But yeah, the music videos are videos that people just keep coming back to. the regular videos, they just watch them once. They fast forward all of them, they don't even pay attention to what you're saying. They just want to see what games were included in the top 10 and that and move on. And they don't come back to that. But the music videos, they come back to them because they want to listen to them again. And they use them as background music for studying, working out, reading, working, whatever, homework, which is great. It's not going to do often. It's not going to be often, right? I mean, that can't be the direction of my channel. It's just music videos, no. But maybe a video every 1 or 2 months, that's fine, a music video, right? Please don't call me DJ Landon anymore. I'm not that. So the problems that YouTubers are facing nowadays is that, well, we saw this coming from like a mile away a few years ago with the success of TikTok and the newer generations. The older you get, the less time you have to watch videos and long form content. And the newer generations, all those 20-year-olds and below that, 20-something year olds and below that, no offense to anybody, it's just that that's how things were for you. If you're that age, I didn't grow up with YouTube. I mean, when YouTube came out, I was already 21 years old. In Japanese terms, I was an old man. In anime terms, I was old as fuck, right? So I didn't grow up with YouTube, but I've been on YouTube for almost 20 years, for 17 years, right? So I grew accustomed to long-form content. To be completely honest with you, I can't stand TikTok. I have nothing against it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I don't like watching shorts or 1 minute long videos or 30-second long videos. No, but that's what people are into nowadays, and that's greatly affecting YouTube. And everybody and their mom is gonna tell you the same. Every single YouTuber has noticed the decrease in watch time in videos over the past couple of years. And when I started making videos all the way back in, this dates back to my short films from like 11, 12 years ago. But when I started making JRPG content videos, like proper videos, like back in 2014, the watch time was still high. People were watching most of the video, right? And that has decreased considerably. Nowadays, people just fast forward. They can't stand over sitting on their asses and watching a video for like 2 minutes. No, they need to like watch as much as they can in like 1 minute of that video and then move on to the next one. So people have started treating YouTube like TikTok, and they shouldn't do that. And that's the reason why you are starting to see a shit ton of ads, because YouTube's desperate. They don't know what to do against that. Previously it was like, oh, okay, so this person is going to sit down and watch a 10-minute long video, right? Most of it. So I'm just gonna throw in 2 ads, and that's it. But nowadays, people are skipping most of the video, fast forwarding everything, So what does YouTube does? What did YouTube do? Something very clever, They invade that little video with tons of ads. So if you're fast forwarding, eventually you're gonna hit one of those ads, and it's gonna play no matter what, because most of them seem to be unskippable nowadays. And yeah, all in order for them to keep making money and keeping this website alive. Yeah, this website is struggling with competition from places like TikTok and Instagram. So it's become a problem for us too. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers, they just get they lose motivation. Like, what's the point of writing a great fucking script and some great editing and do a lot of research and they make a proper video, like it took them a week to do that video, and shit, man. And for what? So people can skip through it and only watch like 30 seconds of it and then move on and fast forward, Yeah, I understand that. A lot of people do that with my videos. A lot of people do that with every single fucking video. And that's the reality nowadays. So you're probably wondering, okay, so if that's a problem, then why the fuck aren't you making shorter videos? And why are you going to a longer and long form content, right? Into that direction. First and foremost, I'm not going to that direction, but I am going to keep making long form videos, more of them in the future. Because for some reason, like I said, people seem to appreciate them more and they seem to be more fulfilling. And even though they don't get as many views as the shorter videos, they make a bigger impact. And most of them, not all of them, most of them don't stop getting views. They take forever to get views, but they are there. They never stop. People come back to them, right? And the 15-minute long videos, most of them, they are forgotten. That's what I've noticed for my channel, okay? I can't speak for other channels. So yeah, that's the reason. And for some reason, the longer the video, even though it gets way less views than shorter videos, the more ads. It makes sense, right? But that's YouTube logic for you. That's YouTube for you. Don't ask me, man. I don't understand this website. It's programmed. Everything is designed in this website for people to not understand it. Because if people understood this website, they will take advantage of it. So yeah, it makes sense. So yeah. And the other problem, anyway, that's my solution to the first problem. And it's also my solution to the second problem. The second problem is that there's just too much of everything nowadays. Everything. I mean, YouTube, during the pandemic, YouTube exploded. Exploded, man. There's like 10,000 channels already. When it used to be only like 10 channels or 100 channels for one topic, now there's like everybody and their mom is a YouTuber nowadays, a content creator. Freaking 8-year-old kids doing dancing videos for TikTok nowadays. And they're more successful than the really hot ladies. I don't know, man. So what I'm trying to say is that, man, it was like an invasion of content creators nowadays. And now, in my case, there's a shit ton of channels that are making the same videos. Like, you have no idea how many times I've seen, I don't watch their videos, but they pop up in my feed, they show up in my feed every now and then, like the same top 10 best PSP JRPGs, or top 10 most owned Switch JRPGs, and like, dude, like every 2 or 3 days, it's like a different YouTuber. You're like, man, what? And there's this, man, everybody's creating JRPG videos nowadays, JRPG top 10s, it's crazy. Wow. So that's another problem, right? Because what YouTube likes to do, and this is something the website has done for many years, is that they look at a YouTuber and, okay, out of these 10 videos that this YouTuber has done, I'm gonna recommend this one. And that happened to me, back in, 2017, for example, I had a lot of videos and all of them had like 2,000 views, 5,000 views, but there were a couple of them that had like 50,000 views. And back then, I was like, I had like 2,000 subscribers, like 3,000 subscribers, and that's it. So this is something that YouTube does every now and then for no reason. Like, he grabs a couple of random videos from total nobodies and explodes them, right? And what about the rest of the videos? Yeah, sure, everyone's got that one video with hundreds of thousands of views, and the rest of the videos are like 10,000 views. So that's YouTube for you. So I don't have a solution for that. I don't know what to do because I don't think the website's gonna change anytime soon. But if you see the positive out of it, at least it's trying to somehow help these smaller content creators to have a bunch of videos, a bunch of successful videos, right? That will gather viewers and subscribers and whatnot. So in a sense, it's not a bad thing. Well, it's a double-edged sword what they're doing. But the problem is that there's way too many YouTubers for everything. For microphones, for computers, for houses, for paintings, for animation, for video games, for music. I mean, it's unbelievable, unfucking believable, man. There's just, it's a plague, a huge plague of us YouTubers and content creators all around the world. So what is my solution to that? Like I said, you know, I'm just gonna try to stick to my content and improve it, and then start making long form videos. Not that often, don't worry. It's not like every single video is gonna be 1 hour long. I mean, come on, man, it takes a while for anybody to make a 1 hour long video. So yeah, that's the direction my channel is heading into. It's not that different, it's still the same, it's just evolving a little bit. You know, trying to come up with different ideas and different things. And something that can finally differentiate me from all of those other JRPG channels that are doing the same and the same and the same. I already did that, and now they're doing it, so I can't keep doing the same. You know, I need to like take the channel into a slightly different direction. Still on point, don't worry, still RPGs and shit, you know, but stick to my original ideas. Because everybody nowadays rips off anybody, you know, you do something and then a week later there's like 10, 20 JRPG channels that all did the same video, right? It's crazy. So I need to stick to my original ideas, or like the ones that are like my own, you know, and go from there. And also start new things and try out different things. Okay, so just wanted to give you a heads up and a long fucking explanation on that. Thank you for being a fan, and thank you for sticking around. I hope you don't leave. In other words, not much is gonna change, but the things that are about to change will change for the good. Amen. Thank you for your best wishes, everybody. Back to your goddamn questions. I missed some comments. Sorry, guys. Thank you for your wishes. You feel like 2024 is the beginning of a new era? That sounds ominous. We'll see what happens. Happy New Year from Finland? Wow. Oh, I know you, man. You've been a fan for a long time. Thanks. Just wanted to wish you a Happy New Year. Likewise. New things are good, just don't stop criticizing the woke. I won't. Until I get arrested or something. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, man. You know, maybe I should start like, I mean, there are websites like Rumble where apparently you're allowed to criticize all of that without getting some big repercussions. Maybe I'll do a channel in that. I don't know. I won't stop, man. Not only are the ads unskippable a lot of time, but they pop up as often as every 3-5 minutes. Yeah, man. I've noticed that, you know, it's just... Even with the short videos, where I've watched videos that are like 10 minutes long, and I get like 5 fucking interruptions throughout the video, like every minute. It's crazy. But I just explained to you why YouTube is doing that. Because TikTok is destroying YouTube. They need to do something. And I can't criticize the ads that much because that's what puts food on my table, right? But I agree, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, you know, I'm watching a 15-minute long video and I get like more ads than video. It's crazy, man. Never ever watched any video in any different speed than original. Yeah, well, yeah, that happens, but, wow, thanks a bunch, Alex Tokash. Holy shit, man. Happy New Year and best wishes to you and your family. You too, man. And thanks again for the PS5. I fucking love it. Damn. I thought I was gonna hate the PS5. I thought it was gonna be like a few months afterwards. I was gonna be like, you know what, this console, it's not that great. It's fucking great. I love it. It does have some problems. What was the problem the other day that was like, man, I don't like this about the PS5. Oh yeah, you know how you put, I don't know if this happens in every PS5 out there, but if it happens to your PS5, let me know. But when there's a disc inside, whether you're playing from that disc or not, whenever there's a disc inside and you boot it up, you turn the power on, it makes this loud fan noise like. It only lasts for a few seconds. Maybe 10 seconds, but every now and then you're playing a game and even if you're not playing that disc, you know, it turns on. Not as loud, but it starts making some noise, right? And I don't know why that happens. Why is it gotta be so... PS4 wasn't that noise, and I have the vanilla PS4 version. It wasn't like that. Well, the PS4 did other noises like shh, right? Depending on how heavy the game is. But yeah, the PS5 it does that with discs. I don't understand why. Is it a problem of my PS5 or does that happen to you too? Let me know, please. Whatever the case, thank you. Thanks a bunch, Alex Tokash, for your $142.86 donation. That was a very specific amount, man. Thanks. Or maybe you're just trying to like okay, you were just trying to discount like the taxes or something, so I get the 100. Well, how much is 142? Well, whatever. Thanks, man. So saying something about the speed. Oh yeah. So I did mean that people just speed through them, but also fast forward. Like they just this is what porn has done to us, to people. There's a bar, right? There's a bar, and they're like the bar that runs all the way from left to right till the video finishes, right? The buffering bar. So people, all they do is click here, and then click here, and then click here, and then click here. So that's like fast forwarding, right? I don't know how you call that in English, you know. They just click on different points on the video and watch like 5 seconds of each, and that's it. So in total, exactly, yeah, that's what people do with porn. They wanna get to the part that turns them on, right? So that's people are doing the same with YouTube videos and with movies and series in Netflix. They don't just click the start button and sit back and, you know, they're like, yeah, relax, let's watch through the whole thing. No, they're like, tick, 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 especially on their phones. Most people watch videos on their phone nowadays. I don't know how they do that, man. I can't watch a 5-minute long video on my phone. I can't do that, man. I watch everything on my TV or on my computer, my laptop, right? So I can have a full screen. But man, these people, that's just crazy. So they do this. Click, 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 next video. And that's it. They do that. Damn, right? But anyway, nothing we can do about that. Except creating, you know, maybe someone out there is wondering, you know what, Eric? Why don't you just quit YouTube and make TikTok videos? Because I don't like them, and because I make videos for that one guy who's gonna sit through the whole video and who's gonna watch the whole video. I know nowadays that's like 1 in a million, but if you're that one guy, thank you, that one guy, for being that one guy. And I like him. I like writing scripts, I like editing, and I make videos for me, you know. I watch my videos. I mean, I'm not really my fan. Like I watch multiple times. I don't really rewatch all videos. Actually, I should do that more often, maybe. But every new video that I put out, I upload it, and some hours later, I'm there in my couch, in front of my TV, watching my own video on my TV. And yeah, you bet your ass. You can imagine how that goes, right? I watch the video and I'm like, no, that editing, that part right there, I fucked up. And oh man, I should have edited this way. I should have shown this footage. I should have shown this character, this image. And oh, I could have. I'm that guy. Yeah. If you haven't done it already, I recommend getting the D brand plates for your PS5, which have fan vent openings. I don't know what that is, but I'll look into it. It happened when I was playing a digital game, nothing to do with the disc inserted. Well, for some reason, mine, you know, whenever I put it, and you saw the unboxing, didn't you? I mean, my PS5 was brand new, unopened, so it's not a problem. Not really a problem, you know. It only boots. Only when you turn the power on, it like reads the disc, and it makes this loud fan noise, like which sort of for like a few, like 10 seconds maybe, and then it calms down. Yeah, so it's not really an issue. I just thought it was normal. And I have my PS5 standing up. Can you see it all the way there? Oh, my microphone is gonna get in the way. That's my mic. Okay, can you see it there? It's vertical position, right? And it has that thing, the stand, that goes below it correctly. So, I don't know, man. Is that the right position to have a PS5 or what? I don't know. Thank you, Fenrir 787. I prefer longer videos. My kind of guy. My man. Jumping between videos 5 minutes is stressful. Find me a 4-hour let's play and I'm good. Damn. Well, did you watch my What the Hell Happened compilation? That's 4 hours long, man. Man, that's crazy, man. I don't think I'll ever be able to do a 4-hour video. Not even a 2-hour long video. Like, sit down and write a... That's making a movie, man. Write a script for a 2-hour long... I've seen YouTubers do that, and yeah, they get like hundreds of thousands of views, but I don't feel jealous. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm not gonna sit down and talk about Chrono Cross for 3 hours and actually write a script about it and do all the editing, and that's just fucking crazy. And it's not worth it, man. That sounds like weeks of work, not just hours of work. Weeks! Days and days and weeks of work in one video. And nothing guarantees me that video is gonna get hundreds of thousands of views, so I can say, okay, I made a decent amount of money out of 2 weeks' work. I may not look like it, you know, but I'm still kind of small. I know there are people out there who look at me, oh, Erick, Landon RPG, right? The guy's famous. And no, I'm not. Look at my numbers, man. Most of my videos struggle to get past 20,000 views. Come on, man. Well, yeah, I will start making long-form videos, but not 2, 3, 4 hours long. Maybe when I compile my older videos, like the What the Hell Happened to series, maybe that's an exception, but no way I'm gonna sit down and write a script for like 3 hours. No way. Can you see when we started following your channel? No, I don't think so. I can see the subscriber list, I think, and who's subscribed to my channel, but I can't see for how long that person has been subscribed. I don't think you can. And if you do, let me know how, because I don't know how, but no. Yo, don't worry, man. I know you've been a fan since like forever. You've been here for like since 2018, maybe, right? Well, I've been on YouTube since 2007, since 2007. But I was just using the platform as another website to upload my music. My shit was MySpace back in the day, and YouTube was like something extra. Like, I'll just upload my song in this new website called YouTube. I just put it there. That's what I did. And then in 2010, man, 13 years ago, I made a top 50. You see, my first JRPG content was music. Made a top 50 best town themes, best RPG town themes. Separately. It wasn't just one video, it was like 50 videos. Well, they weren't videos, they were just the songs, right? And a screenshot of the game in there. And that's it. Wow. So see, those music compilation videos that I do, they are important for my channel, man. That's the first content that I created, the first RPG, the first video game content I created for this channel in 2010. Yeah, wow, it's been a while. But the first, like, real actual video, top 10 JRPG video, those were in 2014. They were just live show videos. They're still there. A couple of them had like shit ton of views, man, for no reason. I actually got YouTube Premium to get rid of the ads. I now watch 3-hour documentaries on YouTube and have canceled all the ads. Wow, that's awesome, man. How much do you pay? If you don't mind sharing, how much do you pay for Premium? How much is it a month? I do get revenue from that. Anyway, happy New Year to you too, Diego. I'm not sure about changing the plates because it's designed with the cooling airflow in mind. Okay. You could do full JRPG tier list for every JRPG ever. Oh man, that's crazy, man. I haven't played for starters, I haven't played every single JRPG ever. And let me tell you something about tier lists. Yeah, most of them are long form content, and some of them do never stop getting views. My console videos haven't stopped gaining views. Even the Xbox 360 video, the Xbox 360 JRPG tier list video that I did like 3.5 years ago, it's still getting views. Not that many, but it's still getting views, right? But I don't know I don't think a lot of people like those videos, and I don't think YouTube pays them very well. I don't know why. It makes no sense. Some of them get a shit ton of views, and they're long, and they put a lot of ads, but I don't know why I get more money from other types of videos than those videos. I don't know why. And well, what I was gonna say is that, okay, how to say this? I love making tier lists. It's really fun, actually. Oh, this game on the D, this game on the B, it's really fun. And the editing isn't that bad, it isn't that heavy. You're probably thinking, oh man, he's gonna talk about 100 games, the editing is gonna be a bitch. It is a bitch, but I love it. What I don't love is that these softwares, the tier list apps, you gotta add all the images, and you only have like a 20 plus, like a 20 megabyte limit. So if all of your images combined are over 20 megabytes, you gotta reduce that. You gotta find a way to reduce that. And then if you're gonna show only the covers, and that's fine. Covers, there's like a space, okay? Let me put it this way. This is the image you're about to show, and this is the space, right? So if you put the image in the space in there, and if it fits, it's fine. But if it's the other way around, if this is the space and this is the image, you're gonna have to cut the image down. So what I'm trying to say is that preparing the tier lists is a huge pain in the ass. After I recorded the video, and when I hit the recording button, from that point onward, it's awesome. But adding the images and making sure they look okay and they're there and people can see them, and oh fuck, man, it's exhausting. Especially if you're gonna do a tier list like the ones that I did, like with a shit ton of games or stuff like that. People have asked me to do character videos. Remember when I did the Chrono Cross characters tier list? I was a pain in the ass to do. Pain in the ass, right? And after that, I was like, man, I'm gonna do one for Tails or Trails. They have a Fire Emblem, Suikoden, but no. I did that Chrono Cross video, and that was more than enough. That's when I said, I'm never doing this again. They're a pain in the ass to do, man. And like I said, for some reason, they aren't worth it. I mean, they don't pay that well for them. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Because I think most people with the tier list videos get terrible watch time. That's probably why. Because most people are just skipping, just all the way till the end, just to see where you ranked all of the games. They don't care about the explanation. Most people don't care about the explanations of the games or why I'm ranking them low or high on my list. No, they just want to get through the end and see where I put them. So that's the problem with the tier list videos, and that's why I rarely do them nowadays. Maybe once or twice per year. Sorry, Fenrir, to your donation. Thanks a lot for the donation, man. He says, will you ever do a JRPG list? Every JRPG, every console? Ooh. Well, the tier lists are the equivalent of that, right? So far I've done PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, PS Vita, 3DS, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Xbox 360, Wii, GameCube, That's 11, right? Okay, so and I there's every single JRPG release for them in those videos, right? So I think it's kind of pointless to do that video, man. YouTube Premium is $10 a month. Holy shit, man, that's a lot. And you say it's dirt cheap, worth every penny? I don't know, man. $10 a month. I mean, Netflix is the same. Anyway, to each their own. If you think that's dirt cheap, $15 a month. You should get all the ad revenue from my. Oh my god. I don't know how much I get from Premium. I do get something. Eric, when are you growing your hair? It grows naturally, man. You mean like long? Nah, my hair starts growing like this. Instead of growing down straight, no, it's like really kind of curly. So it starts growing like this, and nah, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to take care of it, man. My disc version PS5 does the exact same thing. I think it's just how it is. Okay. Because you can emulate all of those systems relatively easy these days, so they look for nice games to play. Some people, I get the feeling that I don't have a lot of viewers who emulate. I think it's because I've done a lot of collecting videos and my collection videos, and those cheap JRPGs videos that you can collect. And yeah, I've done too many videos on the collecting side of things, so I think maybe that's the reason why I have more viewers who are into collecting games and playing legally than emulating. Yeah, I always feel that I don't have a lot of viewers that emulate. I mean, I do have, but not that many. I pay about 130 Mexican pesos a month for YouTube Premium. Well, that's cheaper than $10 or $15. Yeah. 130 Mexican pesos is like... what, like 8? 7? Around that, right? $7? Yeah. Seems cheaper. Rumble seems to be the only free speech platform. For now. Twitch too, you know. Well, Twitch, if you go hardcore, yeah, they fuck you up. But Twitch, I feel like unless you're like, you have like thousands and thousands of viewers and subscribers, they don't give a shit about what you play or what you showcase, unless that game is on the blacklist. They have a blacklist of games you can't play. But I don't know, I've been streaming on Twitch. I stopped recently because of the holidays. I'll be back soon. Because I noticed a lot of you cancel your subscriptions. I know that. I'll be back next week. But I did a full playthrough of a game called Mirror 2. It's kinky as hell. It's like, wow, man, it should be banned, and it isn't, and nothing happened to me. But probably because I only get like 10 viewers or 5 viewers per stream. They don't give a shit. And I've gotten away saying a lot of things in my streams, worse than what I say here on YouTube. And same, but like I said, I think it's probably because of that. I think in Twitch you need to be like kind of big, you know, in order for the woke, the censorship hammer to fall upon you, right? And by free speech, I mean you can criticize the left unlike everywhere else. Yeah, well, I criticize both. I criticize both the right and the left. And there's no difference, you know, both, in my opinion, are political wings that want to force their ideals and their opinion on everybody and oppress the other. So it's kind of like, yeah, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But yeah, free speech is pretty much kind of dead here on YouTube. Hey, do the top 10 ways to find time to play. That's an interesting idea. Top 10 ways to play your long as hell RPGs. Or maybe even hell is a word that it's banned on YouTube, I don't know. Right? We are down at number 11 on the top 50. With Xenoblade Chronicles, speaking about Xenoblade Chronicles. They go after big pockets. Exactly, man. I don't think YouTube has any political agenda of its own. I think it's more like the big billionaire companies like Disney, for example. They are like, I'm gonna pay you a shit ton of money to promote my channels and my videos and and have my politics implemented on everybody else. What about Discord? Am I the only one who thinks you look like Pedro Pascal? I get that a lot. What about Discord? Hey Sky? Saga 2? What about Saga 2? Saga 2 NDS ROM English patch. Oh, okay. Because you know, Saga 2 is actually Final Fantasy Legend 2 on the Game Boy, on the original Game Boy. I'm pretty sure. I didn't know it was on the Nintendo DS. So it's what it's like kind of like a remake. I didn't know that, man. I didn't know the Saga games got a remake on the DS. Obviously only in motherfucking Japan. Their political agenda is to make money. Little guy gets trampled. Pretty much! That's the way of the world. Nothing's changed. It's not like the big guys are like, man, I really need people to start thinking this way because I think it's the right thing to do. They don't give a shit. They need people to start thinking this way so they can make more money. That facts, man. That's a fact. The biggest fact of planet Earth and humanity. Dark Ages all over again? Yeah, but the other way around. Well, history repeats itself, right? Over and over again. The oppressed become the oppressors. I mean, didn't Hitler did everything he did because he and his people felt oppressed? And then all of a sudden they became the oppressors? And holy shit, man. The fucking things they did. Well, don't worry, I don't think the left is ever gonna do that. Hopefully not. Imagine killing every straight white person in the world. Thank God I'm not white. I look white, but I'm not. I'm Mexican. My parents are Mexican. My grandparents are Mexican. So I'm protected by the left wing, even though I criticize it a lot. It's all free speech until you offend the wrong person. That's been there since... I remember in the 60s, I watched a documentary once about the Playboy magazine. If you can believe that. I think it was on Netflix, or was it on Amazon Prime? I don't know. I watched it somewhere, a documentary on the Playboy magazine, and they had some problems with that, and it was just the same back then in the 50s and 60s. You had the right-wing party fucking you up because no, it's too explicit, it's too pornographic, and blah blah blah. And then you got the left wing saying, oh, you know, that's offensive to women because you're portraying women as objects and whatnot. And the guy, Hugh Hefner, he was like getting bullshit from both sides. Like, fuck you, I'm gonna do my magazine however I want. And he succeeded. And he's a fucking billionaire. He's dead, isn't he? Yeah, he's dead. Are you going to play Baldur's Gate 3 or any Divinity game? No, not really. I don't care for Baldur's Woke 3. But I have a Divinity game in my collection, the first one. Original Sin, I believe. That seems really interesting, right? I played it before, but I never went back to it. I only played it for like 2 hours, and I did a stream of it, and I never went back to it. That was aeons ago. I'll go back to it, but my problem is that it just felt to me during those 2 hours that it was designed more... It was designed for 2 players. Because playing by myself, I got a little bit bored. But then again, I get bored by most Western RPGs. But that game seems kind of different in some things. I'd like to go back to it one day. Thanks again, Fenrir. 787. Germany was humiliated in World War I. and we had World War II and Nazis. Right-wing tyranny. There you go. Russian peasants were oppressed and did the Russian Revolution and Stalin. Left-wing tyranny. It's always one side or the other, just becoming a tyrant. That's why I have no political views. I'm more of a philosophical anarchist, not an actual anarchist. I don't go out and do riots and hurt people. No, I think there's a line between anarchism and terrorism, like a really thin line, in my opinion. That's how I see it. But philosophically speaking, I'm a bit of an anarchist. I've always been against the system, and I noticed that all of these political wings and people, were always fighting each other, and that's the history of humanity. Perspectives. Perspectives. Destroying humanity since its inception. Since the prehistoric times. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to stay a little bit more. Yeah, have more time. What a miracle, huh? Usually I'm like, I gotta go, guys. Last questions. But no, I have a little bit more time because they're late. They're late. Interesting. Knights of Azure or Death End Request? Which one do you like better? It will be funnier more interesting to compare Knights of Azure with Death End Request 2 because they're lesbians, right? Well, okay, the first Azure versus the first Request. Damn. Oh, fine, here we go. Okay, so in terms of story, I think Request is better. Sure, it's got this fan service, and these lollies and the stereotyped characters, but the story is way more fucked up. And all the Arata arc is like very intriguing. Sure, it's the visual novel, and that's gonna bore a lot of people. But if you sit through it and read, Arata's story is like, man, like pretty intriguing, man. Like it should have been an anime, and a serious, mature anime. It's pretty interesting, right? And the ending, I mean, all that happens in the end is pretty messed up with that game. So in terms of story, Death and Request is just better. Knights of Azure, the story is interesting, sure. And there's a darkness in there, and Arnis has a really troublesome past, pretty intriguing and tragic and dark past. But it focuses way more on the romance between she and her girlfriend, and about... I just feel like everything around it's only consequential because of that relationship, right? So, yeah, definitely Death Request has a better story. How about graphics? Well, they're pretty much the same. Knights of Azure has better graphics because the company who made it, Ghost, has more money than Idea Factory and Compile Heart. So obviously the graphics department is a little bit better on Knights of Azure. But relatively speaking, they're about the same. What else? Music? Both have fantastic soundtracks, but I'm sticking with Knights of Azure. Some killer tracks in there by Daisuke Achiwa. Holy shit, man. It's like they're so epic and good, they kind of feel like they don't belong in that game, or they're kind of wasted in a game like that. The game's great, and I love it, don't take me wrong, but they're too good for a game like Knights of Azure. And so yeah, better music. And gameplay, well, I think Dead End Request has better gameplay because it's more traditional. It's a turn-based RPG. The battle system is really fun. You just throw the enemies around and they bump into each other and they do more damage. And it's a pretty unique combat, and I love it. Whereas Knights of Azure is simple hack and slash, right? But the gameplay is still better in Dead End Request 2 because you are traversing overworlds, getting into towns, talking to people, you get some different scenes. And Knights of Azure is just the hotel and the mission. You go and finish your mission and then go back. And then halfway through the game, it starts forcing you to revisit the same dungeons again. And that's kind of tiresome. So there's that. And finally, what, the characters? Well, the fan service. Well, the fan service is like Knights of Azure is one of the kings of fan service. It's just ridiculously good. Whereas Dead End Request has some kinky stuff here and there, but then when the girls transform, well, they're both up there, man. Definitely up there in terms of fan service. I don't know why, because the graphics are a little bit better in Knights of Azure. Knights of Azure is better. And I think that, I've been talking about this comparison for the past 5 minutes, so let's wrap this up by saying that I think Dead End Request is a slightly better game, a more entertaining game than Knights of Azure, but they're both phenomenal games nonetheless. People censor one another over ideology always. Yeah. Man, the history of my religion in the Dark Ages, man. Fucking hell, that was hardcore. You think World War II was bad and the Nazis were bad? No, man. The church. The fucking church, man. All they did to people just for thinking differently. Fuck, man. I like JRPGs a lot because they go over that political analysis. Some of them, but nowadays they're like, yeah, very... They're starting to become left-wingy. So instead of talking about it and confronting those issues, they are slowly becoming part of that issue. Sadly. That's why I'm keeping my expectations to a minimum next year with every JRPG. Grand Blue Fantasy, Eiyuden Chronicle, Trails Through Daybreak. Localizations have been kind of politicized lately. 13 Sentinels, a good example. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Shit, man, so, yeah. Did you ever write scenario of a JRPG game? No. No, I've written stories that could easily be converted or adapted into role-playing games, but not really. I don't think I've ever done that, You know what I did a long time ago? I wrote some kind of fan fiction with characters from JRPGs. It was kind of like Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to believe, but I was inspired by Kingdom Hearts, me, and I wrote some kind of fanfic. It's lost now, man. I think I left it on a computer that I got rid of, and I never saved the file. But man, it was a full story. It was called The Chronicle. Oh, I'm not gonna say the name. Yeah, I may want to revisit that story one day and rewrite it with the same name. But the point is that it was like Kingdom Hearts, but weird. You know how in Kingdom Hearts the characters visit the Disney worlds, right? Where in my story, it's not like the characters were visiting the JRPG worlds. It was more like Project Cross Zone, even though I haven't read that, even though I haven't played those games when I wrote my story. I wrote this story like 20 years ago. No, less, like probably 15 years ago. And it was a crossover, and my protagonists, they go their separate ways to find out what's going on with their world and save it with the power of friendship, right? So he had 3 protagonists, but each protagonist travels to these dimensions, and they meet characters from different JRPGs trapped in that dimension. And it was awesome, man. Of course, I never published it because I don't know why. I could have just published it for free. You can't copyright something like that because you're using characters from protected stories and IPs, with copyright and shit. You need to pay money and oof. Yeah, I wrote that, and I actually described some of the battles as if they were kind of action with party members or turn-based, right? So that could have been adapted to a JRPG, but then Project Cross Zone existed. I mean, Namco Cross Capcom, and yeah, my dream came true somehow. But no, to answer your question, I've never written I wrote a lot of stories with my role-playing group many years ago, like 12, 13 years ago. And almost all of those stories were pretty much scripts for JRPGs. But me by myself writing something and keeping it there for one day, no, I've never done that. I beat Knights of Asher today and I can feel a veil of melancholy washing over me. Oh yeah, the game story is good, you know, it may be full of fan service, but it's good. And there's something about it, you know, the music, the atmosphere, the characters themselves. Arnis is such a great character. They're definitely, man. Yeah, Yuri games can surprisingly have good stories every now and then. But they've been doing that since the 70s or 80s, since anime existed. I'm doing my utmost best not to talk politics here. Oh, sorry, man. Well, we're not gonna talk politics anymore because of CB Ross. Which Trails game is the most underrated? Well, I'd say that the entire Sky trilogy, because a lot of people just jump into Zero and Asher or the Cold Steel Saga and they love them, but they refuse to start from the beginning. Plus the games, you know, are not available for modern systems, which is sad. But if I had to pick just one, probably Sky first. Whenever you ask most people about the Sky trilogy, they're always gonna say that second chapter, Sky 2, is the best one, and it is the best one. But I've seen a lot of people saying that the first chapter is boring. Some people don't even make it past the first chapter. They're like, well, everybody has a different opinion, right? But what I'm trying to say is that this particular first chapter seems to be like one of the less beloved games in the series. And I think it's not a masterpiece by itself. You know, Trails in the Sky is a masterpiece with complete, the whole duology, or trilogy if you want to. Okay? Separately, only the second one can actually become its own. If we judge it separately, it's the only one in the trilogy that can actually be considered as a masterpiece, but it cannot exist without the first one, right? So I don't know. I think the first Trails in the Sky first chapter gets a lot of shit, man. I think that's the most underrated Trails game. Any New Year's resolution? Not really. I said that at the beginning that I had a pretty rough year. And I had some resolutions from this year that, you know, went to hell because of that. So I don't have a single resolution. I'm just gonna say, do what I do, and see what happens. Who's your top RPG developers of the year? Ooh, okay, developers of this year. Well, that's weird, because I don't think I can do that. Let me revisit in my head like my favorite. In case you didn't watch it, because YouTube has me blacklisted, it's not recommending my video. Oh, and because I didn't include the very popular games like Final Fantasy 16 or Fire Emblem Engage wasn't there because I didn't play it. Ryza 3 wasn't there. Fate Samurai Remnant wasn't there. I didn't play it. Sorry, guys. Yeah, some of the big ones weren't there, which is also why the video didn't get a lot of views. But in case you didn't watch it or missed it, I did my top 10 best JRPGs of 2023 a week ago. It's there. But if I revisit all of those games, it's just almost every single game in there was done by a different developer. So I don't think I can say which, like, my favorite developer of this year. Maybe publisher. I think Nice America and Nipponichi Software released a lot of good remasters and great games, like the Trails games, for example, which was badass. Whereas most of the other companies only released 1 or 2 games. Publisher of the year, Nice America, for me. But developer, I don't know, man. Falcom? I mean, Falcom released... No, that was Nice America. I mean... Falcom didn't develop shit this year except East 10 and we didn't get it, so no, okay, forget about it. Falcom, no. I mean, we got Trails into Reverie, but it was released like 3 years ago in Japan, so no. How about, you know what? Jam Drops. That was my developer of the year. They developed the remake of Star Ocean 2, and it was freaking badass. Jam Drops, because they blew me away. I can't believe these guys are so good. They should remake every retro JRPG now in HD 2D. Jam Drops. That's my developer of the year. A weird pick, huh? Well, you thought I was gonna choose Square Enix? No way. Koei Ghost? Koei Tecmo? No. What did Ghost do this year? Ryza 3, right? What else did they do? Who made Fate Samurai Remnant, man? Wasn't that like the Fate studio? Tide Moon, right? I don't know. How about Cyber Connect 2? They developed Fuga Melodies of Steel 2, and it was a really good game. How about Adglove for Redemption Reapers? Anyway, let's move on. Do you think it will ever be possible for a new Chrono game made by a reunited Dream Team? I don't know, we were just talking about that at the beginning of this Q&A, and it just seems like... I don't know, man, but by a reunited team like the same guys? I don't think so, because Hironobu Sakaguchi will have to come back to Squaresoft, to Square Enix, right? And then Yuji Horii is there. Okay, that could work. They need Sakaguchi, man, and they need Kato. Without those two guys, I don't think it's gonna be possible. Because Yuji Horii is still there. So is Toriyama. Those two guys are still there. But Sakaguchi and Masato Kato, aren't there. So, yeah. I don't think it's possible. Well, more like I think it's possible, but I don't think it's probable. NIS has some really niche games that look like fun. They know how to make fun trailers. Yeah. I'm not gonna fall for your bait, guys. I'm not gonna discuss that fucking game. Well, I think it's time for me to make my exit. Right? Well, a few more questions. Were there maybe some JRPGs which were so influential on you and the story was so deep and true that made you change something in your life after finishing them? I doubt it. I mean, obviously, games like Chrono Cross were a life changer for me, but I don't think they changed me that much. Or maybe they did and I never noticed. Maybe they did and I never noticed it. It could be that, that I changed somehow after playing those games, that they made such a big impact on me, that I changed somehow. Maybe I became a better person. Probably. But yeah, I think without providing specific examples, games like Chrono Cross left an impact on me. Definitely. Some of the old Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy IX, definitely. For example, Final Fantasy VII, Eternal Poison, believe it or not. The Nier game, yeah. Not that much on a really personal level, but emotional level, probably. Do you have any plans of live streaming the Samurai Showdown RPG fan translation? No. You want a Fire Emblem with Kaso? Who's Caso? What is your favorite preferred main protagonist hair color? I don't think I have a preference. But okay, wait. You mean like when your protagonist is customizable, right? Like okay. I don't know, for some reason I always pick girls and either blondie or red hair. Most of my main customizable female characters have been redheads. Now that I think about it. Damn. So now you know I'm into redheads. Yeah, but I really like long black hair and make them look gothic as fuck, you know? Damn. That. Yeah. Kaga. You wanna fire them with Kaga. Shouso Kaga. Yeah. Not happening. He hates intelligent systems and Nintendo, man. He left for a reason. He wanted to make his really stupidly hardcore strategy RPGs. And he made them, but they never came out of Japan. I don't think Kaga will ever come back to Fire Emblem or to Nintendo. I knew that there's a... thanks, Ashura. I know that, yeah, someone mentioned it a few weeks ago. That the translation for Fate Extra CCC, which is pretty much Fate Extra 2 on the PSP, was finally fully fan translated. I'll see if I can get to it this year. I have a few fan translations that I want to play next year. We'll see how that goes. Fate Extra could be one of those. Which number is this? Number 4. Damn. I kind of want to end the stream with the with number 1, but that's like in 20 minutes and it's not gonna be possible. Maybe if can I somehow skip it? No. What about like this? Oh, there we go. We were just talking about Lady Knights of Azure. Yeah, man. I haven't played the Tales of Destiny fan translation yet. It's fucking song. There we go. Oh man, was about to end. So what's number 2? Well, that's number 2. If you want to know which is number 1, go and watch the video. This is a top 50 I did called Top 50 Best Dungeon Themes in JRPGs, or area themes, forests, bases, ruins, themes, you know. It's public here on my main channel. Check it out. 2.5 hours long, actually. Yeah. A good way to say goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much for this entire year. It was a blast. Thank you for being a part of the Q&As. Wouldn't be the same without you. I love doing the Q&As, and it's always a good hangout with you guys. And in that regard, I had a blast this year. One of the other great things about this year, of the very few good things about this year that happened to me, was the Q&As and the support that you guys gave me. So I'm pretty grateful for that. And here's for a new year, 2024. Hopefully it will be just as great in terms of Q&As. The content is still gonna be there. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll reach 100,000 subscribers someday. And we'll celebrate together. So thank you guys for being a fan. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for following me and respecting my points of view, especially about Final Fantasy. Yeah, thank you for being a fan, everybody. You guys are awesome. You rock. Happy new goddamn year, everybody. And that's it. See you next time.